Welcome to another episode of a Whitetail Rendezvous. Yeah, we're in the 5th year, folks, and I'm pleased to have an alumni, John Musgrave. John hails from Central Illinois, and he's the owner, founder, chief bottle washer, and main camp cook at Standalone Outdoors. John, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Doing this so much, I really don't want to step away from it. So I went ahead and started my own Standalone Outdoors. And there's really not much history behind it as far as how I chose the name. I just I was sitting there listening to music and heard a song called Standalone. And I was like, perfect name. So that's pretty much how that was founded. And then just kind of developed from there, got in contact with some of the sponsors that I had been in contact with game seekers, and got a hold of them and talked with them briefly about, bringing them on as a sponsor with me. And it just kind of snowballed from there. Brought another guy on with me, one of my good buddies, CJ Wilson, and he is the co-owner, by the way. And everyone else knows that is into this. It's, the good sound camera equipment that's going to get you good quality footage is not cheap. I upgraded my camera this year. I happened to get lucky, be on Facebook, found a nice Sony cam, and it's a normal, I think, $1,200-$1,300 camera, and I got it for about half of that price. So I have the camera, and I'm quite impressed with it. Had it out yesterday. Did a little bit of video on the deer that I did see yesterday morning, and I'm super impressed with it. Super impressed with the quality. I did my dad's wedding with it, and it came out awesome. My dad was super impressed with it as well. But you got to have the camera equipment, and you got to have the whole 9 yards: the shotgun mic, the camera arm, the camera, a good fluid head. And, I've told these guys that are with me, that stuff's not cheap. I understand, that, you guys are on a little tighter budget than I am. And I get that part, but just stick money back. And when you get the money, go ahead and update it. And it also goes along with, you got to have good quality video editing software as well,
Yep. Yeah, it's a big job. And people don't understand it. Hey, folks, I just jumped on Google and EHD and deer. EHD is a viral disease found in whitetail deer and some other ruminants. Unlike chronic wasting disease, EHD is spread by a biting midge, not by deer to deer. Deer to deer is CWD contact. The biting midge is a small flying insect typically associated with isolated water sources. So that's a background on it. And it seems, Kentucky's getting hammered. Illinois is getting hammered. I saw a map just briefly, and I'm going, oh my goodness, throughout the whole Midwest. It's a serious thing. So, I guess I'd throw this out to everybody, listening to this. If your land does have EHD, think about, what you are going to do and what you're not going to do, because the rut hasn't even started, and there's not going to be a heck of a lot of bucks for the rut this year. There's just not going to be there. Right. So it's a matter of, how are we gonna manage it? It's a management type of thing. And, so think about that. So let's go back. How long have you been hunting? Let's talk about your hunting tradition, John.
I've been hunting since I was 8. So 31 years I've been hunting.
Wow.
Started just, I was a little 8-year-old boy shooting a squirrel out of the tree, and with my dad as we went and checked trees, and it's flourished into this. And my dad's the one that got me into bow hunting, and it's just carried on. Bow hunting is my passion. I enjoy it, There's just something about the thrill of getting that whitetail in there at 20 yards and watching it as it all unfolds as he walks in, reading his body language as they walk in. But yeah, it's been 31 years, and I've killed quite a few animals, I believe.
Yeah. What's your favorite time of the year to hunt?
I would say it's got to be that late October to mid-November, right around that pre-rut and rut phase. I don't know what it is. It's just something magical about it. And I know there's a lot of other hunters out there that feel the same way,
To you, when does the pre-rut begin? I know up in Wisconsin, I know the dates of that, but what about Central Illinois?
It's a lot of times it kind of depends on the weather. The pre-rut probably around maybe the second week of October to the third week. It just kind of depends on the weather and the moon phase and all that. And sometimes I've not seen any rutting activity around here until late October, the last week of October. And, it's really booming about the second, third week of November. It just kind of takes its spurts. It seems like one year it'll be, early October and you're starting to see some pre-rut activity. And then sometimes it's the later part, that you start seeing it. But I generally, on the piece of property that I hunt, generally I start seeing that pre-rut activity second, third week of October.
Now, are you solely a tree stand hunter, or are you spot and stalk or ground blind?
A little bit of ground blind and a whole lot of tree hunting. I've done the spot and stalk, not real crazy about it. I mean, I know there's other guys that do it, and if you got the ground and when if I spot and stalk, I like to do it on a real windy day, so then that way I've got plenty of noise coverage and crunchy leaves and all that. Then I can, it's nice and easy.
And archery is your weapon of choice.
Absolutely.
Well, what's the longest shot you've ever had on a whitetail?
I'm going to say, if we're talking about archery, 50 yards, he was walking. And that hunt specifically, it was an 11-point hunt. It's on YouTube.
What's your channel again?
Standalone Outdoors. He came in chasing a couple of does. And I thought at the time when it happened, I thought he was standing still, but after going back and re-looking at the footage, he was not standing still. He was walking. But he couldn't have been walking very fast, because where I put my pin is exactly where I hit. He was hard quartering away from me, and I slid up through the back ham, went up through the rib cage and caught the heart and part of the lung. So with a shotgun, I do slug hunt during the Illinois slug season. We'll say probably 90 yards was probably about the farthest I've shot one.
And how far do you practice out with your bow?
And just to paint a picture for everybody that's listening, what the private ground that I hunt, when I do take those longer shots, it is mainly pasture type. There's some trees in there where my stand sits. Nothing's real close together. If anybody's watched my videos, they'll see most of the time it's pasture based. I mean, I'm not inside the woods. I did just gain a piece of property that now I can be back to hunting the hardwoods. But there again, like you said, 30 yards inside the woods is a long shot.
Now, tell me about your setup, your bow, broadheads, and arrows.
Well, I shoot a Matthews Z7. It's an older bow, but it gets the job done, and I'm real happy with it. I was shooting a high country and I wasn't very happy with it, so switched back to the Matthews. But you got executioner broadheads on there, which are great. I've killed several deer with them. All of them have ran maybe a total of 70 yards total with them. And I mean, it varies. I mean, of course, the where you put that arrow is the key factor. That buck bomb, and I'll spray the very bottom of my boots, kind of like a drag rag. And then I also have a drag rag, and I'll soak that in. I'll soak that one in doe estrus, and then the bottom of my boots is buck. And finish walking to my stand, and then I'll take that buck bomb and just hit every once in a while, just certain different areas. If I haven't already gotten them out, I'll make a mock scrape up, get that done and taken care of and sprayed. And it seems to work pretty well, and crawl up there in the tree. And if I see a good buck and he's out there in a distance, I may throw a couple of grunts at him. I do when it gets into the pre-rut and the rut, I will carry a set of rattling horns with me and do a little light rattling if I see one out there at a distance and I don't think he's coming in, which is it. If he's not going to come in, you're not going to hurt anything, So, I mean, that's pretty much my tactics of what I do. I mean, there's besides running the cameras, I run my trail cameras from I get them out around May and run them until the second week into deer season. After deer season ends, about 2 weeks, I'll pull them after that. And I only do that just to see if they've started dropping their horns yet, if it's time to get out and start looking for sheds. And because season here in Illinois ends generally around the 20th of January. So taking into the 2 weeks, you're looking into the end of January. And normally some bucks are starting to shed their antlers. So it gives you kind of a time frame of when you can get out there and start doing that shed hunting and that postseason scouting that everybody should be doing and starting to pattern them for the next year. But yeah, that's pretty much my go-to tactics right there.
And the best 5 days?
My best 5 days, I'm going to say